There you are.
Hello there.
Hey, what's going on?
You wouldn't know anything about shoving glue into a hole, would you?
No.
Never mixed up a little epoxy and
Oh my gosh.
filled a crack in an otherwise good board?
A little bit of sawdust, a little bit of floor sweepings, make some putty.
I don't know anything about that. Let's see if this will focus. Classic, caught red-handed.
Yeah.
How are you? Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, same to you. Y'all have a good time?
We did. We got some cookies in the mail.
Yeah, that was a treat. You know, that's always kind of a nice.
Awesome. I've got a photograph we'll stick into this video. It'll make sense.
Well, so do I, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
So let me see if I can make this happen. Hold on, I'm gonna screen share. So let's talk about the cookies for a little bit.
Yeah, tell me about these cookies.
So Jeannie Taylor at ShopBot and I have been talking about collaborating on a project or two, with the idea that it's sort of how designers and fabricators work together. You know, what are the sort of challenges? What are the issues? That kind of thing. You know, what does the fabricator have to think about? What does the designer have to think about? So we've been working along on this. But one thing, she was really into baking. She makes all kinds of pies and things like that. So I said, well, I found some pictures of fancy rolling pins that had stuff in.
Aren't we still waiting on a cake?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the cake. I guess I'll have to do a custom cake.
I'm just throwing that out there, Bill.
Yeah, well, I'm not, you know, she's the one that does our video editing, so it'll certainly be a nice reminder for him. But so basically she came up with this, let's see if we can share this. So she came up with this design that she wanted to try to wrap around a cylinder, around a rolling pin.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can make this. Oh, come on. So this is what the cookies look like before we got them. This is the dough, and it basically was just embossed pressed into the dough. And it became cookies. And you got a box of cookies, and I got a box of cookies.
Indeed.
Well,
in fairness, my boys got a box of cookies, and I got to have a couple.
Well, yeah, my son came in for 4th of July, so he helped me with the cookies.
Yeah.
So, but it turned out, I'm going to get even maybe fancier to show you what these things look like. See if this works. Ha!
Oh, look at you.
Look at this.
Turn that by hand on your lathe, big boy.
Yeah. Get your Barlow knife out and whittle one of these. So this is
that's cool.
This is just plain old closet rod.
Yep.
1.5 inches, buy it at the hardware store. You know, nothing fancy. And I got 2 versions. This is the one that was the original one. So it's cut.
That makes the positive image.
Hmm?
That one makes the positive image, and then the other one makes a negative impression.
So it's cut into the. Yep. So this is an innie. And then there's the exact same pattern, but as an outie.
Right.
And so it's actually turned out pretty well. You know, the closet rods, they aren't round. Fur is not the best material. It's got that, you know, sort of hard winter grain and soft summer grain. So it's kind of, the more you sand it, the worse it gets. But
Bill, I'm gonna donate a box of hardwood squares to you.
Well, I've been buying.
I've got a couple of bins. Whenever we do a job in here, I collect all the drops, and I mill them down into spindle stock for students. And I've got a couple of boxes. One of them just officially got your name on it, so you can have some worthwhile material to do these things.
Yeah. Well, Woodcraft sells 1.5 inch maple dowels. So once I do a better job of, I just buy. I'm lazy. I'm just lazy by nature. So
well, mine are already milled and cut for you. All you got to do is just put them on the spindle.
But are they round?
Some of them are.
No, that'd be great. 'Cause like I said, it's, you know, the woodcraft ones are way better than what you get the closet rod, but you know, they're still, and they're expensive. Um,
Yeah, it's about $600 a board foot or something.
exactly. Well, plus I have to drive to Norfolk to get it, which is $18 worth of tolls and about a half a day's worth of time. You know, because you got to make a trip to Trader Joe's and
Right.
all that stuff. So it's always, everything's expensive, one way or another.
I wonder if Jeff is in the business of shipping them to your house.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. You can buy Baltic birch plywood from Amazon. You can buy all kind of stuff.
Can you really?
Yep. Would you?
I have never looked it up.
You can buy woodcraft stuff from Amazon,
Right.
and it's shipped from
Right.
Woodcraft. So I could buy them there. The other cool thing, let me see.
I would like to see that postal worker getting out of our postal worker drives a Pontiac, and I'd like to see her get out of this car with this 5x5 sheet of Baltic birch. That's not that I'm really trying to torment this poor woman. She's as nice as she can be, but that would be a hilarious thing to see.
There's nothing more awkward than.
Does Amazon roll up the Baltic birch? Does it come pre-curved?
I don't know how they do it, but I mean, there's nothing more awkward to carry than a sheet of Baltic birch.
No, indeed.
There's no way to do it right.
Nope.
The other cool thing I've been using with this is, I don't know let's see if I can figure out how to focus this thing. Let me switch over to the other side here.
Is that a drag knife?
No, it's an insert, let's see. It's one of the Mana insert engraving bits.
Ah.
And
that's fancy.
Yeah, so it's so you can change, like this one has a 0.02 flat on the bottom of it.
Right.
But you can get all the different variations of shape, but it's really neat. I've been using just a regular engraving bit, and I've tried a couple of different. Woo!
Bill Young.
I went kaput. This is
way more black screen that says Bill Young.
This is where I didn't go. Oh no! This is way more technology now to be in control of. But it's been neat. So I've been shuffling back and forth on making these. I actually did one and sprayed it with that Rust-Oleum kind of rubbery spray. I forget what they call it.
Yeah.
To do block printing, sort of perpetual block printing. And that's worked
right.
Well, even though I have no idea how to actually do it right. I could dab it with a ink pad and roll it around on a piece of paper. And it was kind of neat to do that repeating pattern. So there's going to be a series of videos of some sort of how designers and fabbers interact, what everybody needs to think about. So that's been kind of fun.
Very cool.
It's been something different, you know, tearing up closet rod. So what are you working on?
A dozen things. We're mostly installed on this big job, and now I'm in the throes of the last couple of pieces that are going to be going in at the end of the month. And other than that, just fit and trim stuff. You know, making sure everything's tight, and shoe molding is to the floor, and scribes are scribed, mm-hmm. and lights are installed, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
My video is getting weird. Or is it just?
Yeah, I see that.
Does it switch back and forth? Are you seeing that?
Might be. No, I see your face.
Okay. I think it's just on my end though. It mirrors every once in a while on my end. Just weird, more weird stuff. So
it's probably an internet connection thing.
After this one's done, what's your next project?
Well, I must not have made these people too irritated, because they just hired me to do another job for them. Yeah. So That's a good sign.
So you're not going to get,
We're also,
go ahead.
do what?
You're not going to get some closet rod and a Barlow knife and make some rolling pins?
Man, I don't know. That's awfully tempting. No, I was gonna say we're also ramping up to finish the school out. We've got a little bit of work left to do on the building from last year, and so that'll, I think, take a good part of the fall. We're trying to figure out what reopening this place looks like. We've been working on screens between the lathe stations, trying to figure out if we're going to remove a couple of machines and spread things out further. Most of the machines now are 6 feet apart anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The lathe stations are. But we're wondering if we should maybe take a couple out and spread things out to 8 or 10 feet or, whatever. So we're just playing that game like everyone else in the world of which version of the news do you listen to today? And how bad is it really? Right. My general philosophy on this is there's some bad stuff floating around, and keep some distance, wear a mask, wash your hands. What else can you do?
Yeah, it's just hard to imagine a scenario where everybody isn't at least in contact with it at some point. That the best you can.
My general hope is that most of us, or those of us that haven't been exposed to this point, maybe I don't even know. I mean, who knows if we've been exposed? I may not even be in that statement, but
exactly.
Anyway, my hope is that folks that haven't been exposed don't get exposed, at least until there's some kind of treatment, whether that's symptomatic treatments or support care kind of stuff, or a vaccine, whatever comes first.
Right. Just slow it down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the camp of saying masks can't hurt you, so why argue?
Exactly.
It's just foolish, especially in a wood shop. Putting any barrier between you and sawdust is a good idea. So, it gives me a little bit of a card in my hand to say, hey guys, put that mask on.
Yeah, I kind of.
It's good for you. It's good for you.
Yeah, if I wear a mask to help protect myself, I'll certainly wear a mask to protect other people.
One would hope.
You're just a selfish bastard if you don't.
Right. So, what about you? What are you working on? Are you still making ear savers for the next millennium?
Slowed down a little bit. I'm at about 30,000 so far. I just shipped 15,000 to a group up in New York that's distributing them. This is a collaboration with Saint-Gobain, the French company that makes certain teed insulation, all kinds of stuff. The parent company of that. They've been in business for like 300 some years.
Wow.
It's so this has been an interesting, it's been an interesting collaboration. So 3 Rubbermaid tubs full of them, banded onto a pallet and shipped off last week.
Nice.
Yeah. So then I've got some plastic here, back to cutting the plastic from Norva Plastics. My buddy Howard at Norva Plastics has been real good in keeping me and stuff. So I'm slowing down a little bit. I'm going to try to get away in the camper for a couple of weeks, or at least a week or so.
Good for
next
you.
week. Take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I mean, I admire and appreciate the work that you're doing, but it would be cool to see you doing some other things for a bit.
Well, I have been making these crazy rolling pins, which has been, you basically just sort of put the blank in there and push the button and then say a bad word and change the file and put another blank in. Seems to be the way lots of things work.
Sure.
But it's been neat. I mean, I've kind of enjoyed doing it, and the fact that we got some cookies at the end of it.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
That was a nice surprise. And it just so happened when I pulled up to the shop that morning, I got out of my truck, and as soon as I closed the door, the FedEx lady pulls up with a box, and I was like, cool. So
It's value added.
it worked out well. Yeah, man.
So,
Well, Bill, I'm gonna get back to it.
back to
Back to gluing. I got some epoxy work to do, and then a lot of sanding and.
be careful with that epoxy. Back when I was young and stupid instead of old and stupid, I would just kind of get it all over me and wash it off with acetone and thought I was doing something, and then became sensitized to it. So I can't be around it anymore.
Yeah.
So
I really don't. I don't use it that much. I mix it in small batches, and if I've got like the piece that I'm working on now is a base cabinet for a big library case, and the bases are 24-inch wide glue ups of solid mahogany boards, and a couple of them are nice wide boards, but they've got cracks in them. So rather than trash them or not use them, they're beautiful boards. I'm just mixing up some mahogany wood flour with good old West System epoxy, put it in the hole and carry on.
did I ever tell you my wood flour story?
No.
So I used to buy this stuff from a fiberglass supplier called wood flour. It was in a big bag. I mean, it's a monstrous big bag. And I noticed after a while that it said the manufacturer was Pillsbury. So I asked the guy eventually, I said, where do you get this stuff from? And he said, we get it from the baking supply place. It's how they make that's what they used to make high fiber bread. And it was just really fine sawdust.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
yeah, I think a couple of the food manufacturers got in trouble a couple of years ago for putting MDF into Parmesan cheese.
well, this was
all kinds of
this stuff was really
stuff
nice,
like that.
fine, fluffy sawdust, basically.
Yeah, well, that's what comes out of our. We've got a big, commercial drum sander, and it comes off. It's the most uniform, lightweight powder. I mean, it's almost undetectable as a fiber at all anymore. It's just a powder. And it mixes in so fluidly with the glue. When you put it in there, by the time you sand it and put finish on it, I mean, it disappears for me. And I'm pretty attention. I have a lot of attention to detail with that kind of stuff. I don't like cracks filled with glue typically. But this stuff works really well, and it lets you use boards that you otherwise wouldn't be able to use.
Bag it up and sell it to Pillsbury.
Hey kids.
Good for you. Fiber's good for you.
Take a couple of spoonfuls of these every morning.
Yeah. All right, man.
Bill, have a wonderful afternoon, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, bud. Bye.
All right.